GMTK. Game Maker's Toolkit. A YouTube channel about game development and design came up with the absolutely bonkers jam that was filled to the brim with all kinds of game developers. From the ones with a little craze in their eyes, to ones with happiness and bliss galloping amid the hay and sun that they call game development. I, in the middle of worry and challenge, sat there, waiting with bated breath for the theme to be announced. Hold on. Maybe, to the uneducated, I should explain what a game jam is. Noun: a game jam is a game-making marathon where game developers are challenged to create a game within a very short period of time. Like creative writing, a theme is usually given, and everyone makes their game out of the theme. GMTK's themes are usually difficult and painful and tricky. The jams are short and difficult and painful and tricky. 50 hours to make a game, this time round. Luckily, however, I was not alone. Meet ABuffZucchini. He stands tall as one of the greatest Celeste modders of all time. If you know not what Celeste is, it is a small platformer game that piqued the world's interest with its effortlessly silky smooth design and wonderful tale about the pains and turmoils of depression. Yes, I implore you to give it a try. And maybe play ABuffZucchini's levels afterward in a website called Game Banana to enjoy the fruits of his wonderful design-oriented brain. So ABuffZucchini, not all familiar with the game engine I used, was patient to learn things. And he definitely did learn them faster than I ever thought possible. And as excitedness filled up within us, we wanted a chilled-out experience, lax without worry or sleeplessness, as this was an event for negative emotions to take a back seat, and for creativity to run wild. The theme came in. I closed my eyes, for a short prayer. And there it was. Roll of the dice. Of course, I said to myself. The theme had to be a mountain. And ABuffZucchini, being the genius he is, had ideas from the get-go. We highlighted things to avoid that everyone else would be stuck making. For instance, utmost randomness. Randomness, while not benefiting the player, can be very rage-inducing. One of the reasons why I detest the FIFA games. There you are passing the ball, when suddenly, whoops, a professional player misses the ball. I'm not the biggest fan of these kinds of gameplay. So ABuffZucchini decided we pick platforming. And being somewhat experienced with the puzzle platformer, the game would naturally take that direction. Screen wrapping would later be the main mechanic, and the mechanic which ABuffZucchini had so much requested for, sonic movement, had unfortunately being made so well by the both of us, but it was too tough to teach, and had cautions making my brain twist and twirl with both pain and misery. So as time ticked, my spaghetti code twirled a lot more. Hard to read, I decided to take the front seat of programming while ABuffZucchini did the music, art, and some of the level design, all of which were amazing and pristine. Time was ticking, and the fear of not submitting the game in time was becoming real. By the third day, I had decided enough is enough. And restless, sleepless, and bloodshot-eyed, I was working on features I never thought anyone would take notice of. By then, not even one level had made it in. Panic. Level design began. ABuffZucchini's music landed in. I took ABuffZucchini's character and tile designs and made mechanics and animations out of them. Before we knew it, it was 5 minutes before the deadline. You could practically notice sweat beads crop up on my forehead, as I struggled to scramble some sort of ending. The final levels were somewhat rushed, and weren't tested a bunch in terms of me resetting the checkpoints. And the final ending screen wasn't as great as I hoped it to be. I sent ABuffZucchini the files to quickly have them up on itch.io. And he, being amazing at it, had it up and running faster than you could say all the expressions in a single go. Finally, it was up and running. Not perfect, I knew, thanks to myself overscoping quite a bit, but it had been fun to create. TIC-80, this retro game engine, or fantasy console, if you want to be fancy all about it, was what we used. I was somewhat sure that some people wouldn't understand it, as it was pretty rushed. But I was also not ready for the somewhat positive reception it would receive. I couldn't believe it. I had worked with my favorite Celeste modder of all time. And even though a lot of the mechanics I made didn't land into the game, at least, I made sure all of ABuffZucchini's levels made it in. I'd felt a little terrible for rushing him at the end, but at least we shipped something. I don't know. Was it a success? We were around 1000th place or something. It's not bad, thinking about it. But also, hopefully next time, we could walk a longer stretch and become even more successful. I played some of the games and I was impressed by the quality at show. I don't know, it was an interesting thing. Thank you ABuffZucchini, for being a great person overall, and also, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it.